It's funny. In today's world, social media is full of enlightened and awakened and spiritual people, right? There are many videos online that are clearly done with AI. Now, don't get me wrong, the AI visuals can be amazing. They can be far more interesting to watch than looking at my face. But yet, at the end of the day, if I have to trick you and keep you entertained by putting funky visuals in this video, you're not ready for a true spiritual awakening. You're just looking for some goal, some distraction, the same of the same of the same. But these AI videos, you can see it's not just the visuals. The voices are AI voices for the most part. Some people use their own voices, but the scripts, what they say, is just AI. Where does AI get its information about Kundalini awakenings? Because if I question AI about Kundalini awakenings, it doesn't even come close. All it does is it scans 20, 30, 40 websites, takes the blab off it and spits it back at you and says that's what a Kundalini awakening is. If you do the same for spiritual awakening, it does the same thing. So there are these videos. Now, okay, these creators will then take that information and say, I want to create a YouTube video, so give me a beautiful, picturesque narration in a metaphorical way, talking about this in the style of a mystic or a guru. I have a fly flying around. You won't get that in an AI video now, will you? So between the AI basics that never, now some of their stuff can be interesting if you know absolutely nothing and you read comments of people on these videos. Wow, that's amazing, different point of view, never read this before. That very simply, again, if you are a total beginner, that can be a good place to start. But this blew my mind. It's very basic stuff. And then we go to the spiritual influences that they're awake and it's interesting. The most awake people. Now, when we talk about spiritual awakening, a true spiritual awakening, someone must have gone through a Kundalini awakening in some way, shape, or form. Because if not, what they've gone through, whilst you could call it a spiritual journey, maybe they've done lots of ayahuasca and they've changed their minds about things, but they haven't understood what's beyond the veil. They may have changed their perspective, but yet the fundamental reality stays the same. So when you start talking to these spiritual people and you dig deeper, you actually start to discover that either they have a need, and again, I'm not putting anyone down, I'm just spelling it out how it is. They have a need to feel special. Their way to feel special, instead of being a fan of a football club, is being spiritual. That is their way to feel superior to others. The spiritual ego game. They are better. If they think they are better, then very simply, all they've done is got stuck in ego, lack of self-confidence, hiding it in this nonsense. And we see these sketches, these comedy sketches about spiritual people. And it is so true, because that's what those people are. These new age, new or neo-new age, we should really say, people, because there are the true new ages, the lifer new ages that have lived in communes and things like that for 30, 40, 50 years. They are very different to the neo-internet new ages. When you talk to someone who has truly awakened, they have a knowing, they have a knowledge, they have an understanding. They're not superior to other people. And this is interesting because we can see this in the guru tradition as well. Now, again, don't get me wrong, there are some fantastic gurus out there. There is one thing that a person sits on a stage to raise them up, for them to speak to a wider audience so the audience can see them. Much like actors on a stage for a play. But then there are others that will sit on a throne above the rest, putting themselves on a pedestal to make themselves seem superior. It's a subtle difference. And we can see this if we read between the lines of what these people say. If they talk to people or they talk down to people. It's a very subtle difference. I've met people who suddenly get this life-changing, for them, life-changing experience. One of the common ones that's a fad at the moment today is Kundalini activation. They have a couple of sessions and their entire life changes. And they think it's wonderful, and it is wonderful. And they say, no, I have to dedicate my life to doing this. Again, not a bad thing. But they suddenly turn around and do it with no true understanding of what they're doing. And I just allow the energy to do what the energy must do. And they get into all manners of trouble. And whenever they have a client that they push too far, that comes back to them, if the client even goes back to them, because again, I have many clients that come to me saying this has happened to them. And the first thing I say to them is, Go and tell the person that did this to you. And many of them say, I don't want anything to do with that person ever again. So these people think they're doing this wonderful work and they're not. Or they do turn around and tell these people, and these people deny it and they blame the client and because they're right and the client is wrong. Sometimes it's possible that can be the case, because you also get clients that are there only to test. There are always those people out there as well. Everything is within a margin, everything is with a pinch of salt. Yet there are these people that learn certain things and then suddenly think, because they have this special skill, they're above everybody else. If you can drive fast, are you above everybody else? If you can write an essay or a book, are you above everybody else? If you are voted president of a country, are you above everybody else? Many of them think they are. But they're just people. People born into royalty or aristocracy, again, many think they are above everybody else. Or become billionaires and think they are above everybody else. They are just people. Or they put on uniforms and suddenly think, with the power they've been given, they are above everybody else. They are just people. When you are truly awake, you know this. There is no one above anybody else. There are some people that you can understand. Most people are not awake. They are closed down. They are programmed. That does not put them beneath you. It just means they're in a different place. When you're truly awakened, you see it. You get it. You understand it. To find truly spiritual awakened people, they are not a dime a dozen. They are not common. They are not everywhere. Despite people claiming they are, or their Kundalini awakening experiences and how bad it was. Kundalini awakening is not a negative experience. If people had a healing experience, an activation of pranic energy, and they fought it, and their ego denied it, then this is much like, or is, what we can call a life crisis, much like a midlife crisis, where you go into a dark night of the soul and you have to work it out. And most people end up buying a sports car to make themselves feel better, or something else. These things are being driven more and more by the stress, and mobile phones aren't helping us, and people claiming they're having Kundalini awakenings when literally all they're doing is having life crises. But thanks to social media and spreading the word, they're suddenly all awake people. What is a true awakened person? It is a person that has seen beyond the veil. It is a person that has connected to consciousness, that understands. And as they understand, despite the fact that some people who are jealous of them might call them egotistical, Hell, I've seen people call the Dalai Lama egotistical. But that is the problem of the person calling the names. For anyone that says the Dalai Lama is egotistical is clearly lost. Do you know anyone who is clearly, honestly, a truly spiritual, awakened person? And I mean personally. So I'm not saying the Dalai Lama. I'm not saying Eckhart Tolle, another one. There are people who are awake, but I'm saying, do you actually know anyone personally that is? Have a think about it. Then compare these social media influencers and claimers with these videos that they are awake, and compare them to people like Eckhart Tolle, the Dalai Lama, some of the awakened shamans and gurus, and the awakened masters out there, and see if you would put them in the same category. Share your comments down below, and I'll see you, especially if you subscribe and hit that notification button. I will see you in another video.